Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the June 30th meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. I'd like to ask our Veteran Service Director, Brian Gallagher, please, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian. I'm Barb Lewis, President. To my right is our Vice President. I almost called you Gary Merrill, but you're Jeff.
He even
Beck.
said thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You made me a Sooner fan.
Yeah. To my left is fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill, our Administrator Tracy Davies, and our clerks Jennifer Walraven and Sarah DeNovo. We can begin.
Resolution number 22-545, in the matter of approving electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held June 27, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-545. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
We have no public comment this morning. Resolution number 22-546, in the matter of approving the purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrant and batch numbers CMAPR 0629 and memo transfers and batch numbers MTA 0629.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-546. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-547, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So
So,
moved.
second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-547. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-548, in the matter of accepting and approving the Delaware County Sheriff's Office Transport Report for the month of May 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-548. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-549, in the matter of setting date, time, and place for the final hearing by the Commissioners for the proposed Lunetta Lane subdivision watershed drainage improvement.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-549. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-550, in the matter of approving the 2023 budget for the Delaware County Veteran Services Commission and authorizing the necessary levy to raise the amount approved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Pass these down first.
I can give it to Jeff. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Gallagher, the Delaware County Veteran Service Office Director. And I've got with me here two of the staff members that are going to be talking about their specific programs. And I'd like to start off by introducing three of the five members of my commission. So we've got Christine Santiago Foos, we got David Hyatt, and Rick Ray that are, my bosses. Rick, did anyone of you want to say anything?
I'm Rick Ray. I just wanted to thank the commissioners for the support of the Veteran Service Office and helping them complete their mission to help the veterans of Delaware County. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for your service.
And so what I wanted to do this morning is just go through some of the things that we've done, because as you well aware, our budget has increased over what it was in the past. And I wanted to let you know what the return on investment has been. So on the page that looks like this one right here, I've got some numbers as far as where we're at in 2022. What I did was I looked at the first quarter because we're just ending the second quarter, today, and where we're at and extrapolation on the first quarter based off of where we looked at from previous years. So you can look at, and I'll let Bill go over financial assistance in a little more detail. He's our social services officer. But whenever you look at the number of vets transported, and I'll let Andrew talk about that, he's our transportation officer, it's a significant difference. And then whenever you look at the rest of the stuff listed below, as far as, whenever we're looking at DD 214 corrections, discharge upgrades, and then the meat and potatoes of what we do, which are pension claims, disability claims, appeals, and then at the bottom, the total number of VA filings of what we've done, you can see a significant increase. And I think that, before the office was, down the road, and you may not have had, eyeballs on it as much, but I hope that you've seen, we've got a fair amount of traffic that comes in and out of the office downstairs. So, it's with COVID, it was a learning curve and things were a little different. But, now that we're coming out of that, it's definitely starting to pick up. And word of mouth does a great thing. And I know your support, you've mentioned it to several different, I've heard you, talk to different people and talk about the office. If you hear a veteran, go see our office. So I think it's a great collaborative effort as far as supporting the veterans of Delaware County. So I'm going to start off with the transportation program. I'll let Andrew explain it and the kind of the evolution of where we're at today.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
All right, Andrew Apostolek with Delaware County Veteran Service. I am the transportation officer. So I believe Brian gave everybody a second page with all my information on it. Looks like this one. Just want to go over real quick the time I started, 2021, and now what I've changed with the program, where we came from, that sort of thing with the numbers. So on the very top, just those two little depictions of data there. You'll see 2021 versus this year. We only went till May. We didn't have June's yet. So nearly doubled everything we did from last year. So we're taking a lot of people a lot of places. And I'm going to just go down where those changes happen, why we're taking so many people, and what it's doing for our veterans. In the past, we followed the law, which said that we needed to take people down to the VA. That's the only thing it says about transportation when it comes to veteran services. It just says we got to take people to the main VA medical center in Columbus. So with that, what we did is in the past is 8 to 10 was when you had an appointment. That's the only window they offered, and we took everybody at once in one bus, and that's how a lot of the counties do it. It's budget dependent, restrictions and all that sort of thing. So it's not much different than a lot of counties do. But we're very fortunate here, and I was able to grow the program to expand it quite a bit. So what we've done to evolve the program, we're really transitioning to a one-on-one veteran first kind of mentality, just like you would find in the medical field. A lot of times we're the only people a veteran sees in the day. Might be the only person we see that week, even in a month. So it's pretty important that we get that one-on-one, especially with another veteran. We can kind of put feelers out there, see how they're doing, if they need anything else. So we're that transportation is huge on that contact. So the office provides trips to VA medical centers. Obviously, we go to Columbus, but we'll go to any neighboring county. We go to Licking County. We go up to Marion. We take some trips to Cleveland if we need to. We're able to take anybody pretty much anywhere. We take people to commutation and pension exam, like Brian discussed. That's the core of what we do. We get these veterans the benefits they've earned. The first step of that is taking them to these appointments to get that whole ball rolling. And it's something we've now transitioned to be able to do. So we're there from the beginning till the end. We do their paperwork, and then we take them to those appointments, and we get them into the VA, and we continue to take them. Right now, we're transporting 2 to 4 people a week for surgery. We have to, a lot of times, sign in as the person, their guardian, in a sense, and my drivers are sitting in the waiting room and waiting for them to come out of surgery. It's a huge help. These people didn't have that before, so we don't really know what they did before. They probably walked down and asked a neighbor, friend of a friend, however they could make it happen. But now they know they can rely on our office to get those medical procedures done. We're also going to, the VA has transitioned to outpatient care, which is a big necessity for us in transportation, because if we were only taking them to the VA, if they got outsourced to Ohio State, they couldn't get rides from the office. So now we've corrected that, and we have 4 drivers now. We hired at the beginning of '21, and definitely going into next year in the future, we're going to have to hire more drivers.
And those drivers are part-time intermittent, so they're retirees that are veterans that are looking for something to do. They've got the right mindset, and so, you know, being a part-time intermittent is very flexible. But really, it's an
That's great.
on-demand, you know, setup.
Great.
On top of that, we do offer veterans the Delaware County Transit passes. We don't have any sort of stipulations around it. We want them to use it for whatever they can use it for. There's no rules about it. They come in, we give them usually $10 at a time. That's about 20 rides on the bus or 10 round-trip rides. If they request more, we'll give them more. So we just want them to give a little independence. You know, they can make their own appointments, get to where they need to go, that sort of thing. So outside of that, again, in the county, we're able to, if somebody calls and we have a van available, we'll go get them. There's no time frame to what we do. We do ask them to make a 2-day sort of heads up so we can get scheduling done, especially for those big trips. But if we can do it, we do. We just took somebody yesterday. They woke up and their eye they had a lot of pain. They called, can I go to the VA today? Called my driver. He's like, yeah, I'll come down. And we took him to the VA right then and there. So that's a broad overview of what we do. And then for the future, I just have down on here a little bit of the data. We've already driven 12,500 miles on our 2 vans, and we've driven about 2,000 miles on your van. So we do a lot of miles, we do a lot of driving. And like I said earlier, 2022, we're definitely going to add some more drivers, and we're going to look at probably leasing another van.
That'll be in the future. That won't be.
1 to 2 years, yeah, following year. Sorry about that. We expect to continue a large increase with the passage of HR 3967, which is on our PACT Act. The VA is already projected to hire thousands of people to even handle those claims on their end. So with that means you're talking tens of thousands of claims for the newest generations of veterans, which then comes down to us for transporting them, getting them to those exams, and then ultimately to the VA for care, and then as well as the community for care. Yep, so Delco, we do use them a lot for those requiring any sort of mobility chair, mobility issues, and also some overflow. If a lot of times we're taking 5 to 7 people a day, spread across 3 vans. We don't want people waiting at the VA all day for someone else. So the more we can mitigate that, the better. So we schedule that accordingly. We try to make it 1 or 2 people per van, so maybe an hour overlap at the maximum. So we use Delaware County Transit to offset that sometimes as well. They can take 1 or 2 people, same principles apply. We just don't want someone down there more than an hour between their visit, because we're taking people that go to dialysis and that sort of thing. So the least amount of time they can be away from home is what we're really trying to accomplish. And with Delco, we do also use them a lot with the in-town stuff. People needing to go to the grocery store, that sort of thing, because they are receptive to being able to pick somebody up at a call, within a certain amount of time. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Boy,
Any
that's,
questions on transportation for Andrew? All right, with that,
let me just ask Andrew, could you, I've often wanted you to come before us just to give us a little briefing on your background, your service background.
Sure.
It's, the quality of the staff here is so great, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I was a scout sniper in the Marine Corps. I did a 4-year, I went to Iraq twice for 2 combat deployments. Once I finished that, I went to Ohio State when I came home, and then I went back as a private security contractor for the State Department. I did high threat security for diplomats, mainly in Iraq. I've spent about 5.5 total years in the country, so I'm very familiar with it. Then an injury kind of put me out of that, so I came home and got my master's, and now I'm here.
Boy, you're very, very fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great,
Thank you, Andrew.
great report. Great.
And then our social services officer, Bill Tork.
Bill Patorek, Social Service Officer with Veteran Services. Good morning. And I just
Morning.
want to let you know that I came in end of January, so I'm still kind of new to this. However, what we found is there's veterans out there that need us every day. They're coming in and needing assistance due to COVID, financial issues for numerous reasons, and we're here to help. Since I've been here, we've right around $130,000 in assistance, helping 96 different times through going through the process. This last quarter is 54,000, give or take. It's not finished yet. So there's people out there that need us, and we're out there to help them. In the meantime, when we're not doing that, we're establishing some other goals and things, and coming on board, talking with Director Gallagher. Here's some of the things that we're going to work on. We're going to fine-tune the financial aid policy to kind of increase the accountability to the veteran to make sure that they are using the money appropriately. We're going to expand the dental program. The VA really doesn't have a good dental program for veterans, so we're going to take care of our veterans here. They're going to have to meet the 250% poverty level, and then they'll be able to go to their dentist of choosing, as long as that dentist is willing to meet the requirements that we have in policy. And then we're going to work on the same, very similar program, but we're going to do for eyeglass policies. And then we're going to also, one of the things I've noticed, that there are a lot of veterans that are homebound, they're lonely, they don't have a lot of family members, so we're initiating a veteran visitation program. So we're going to use our resources. A lot of the military organizations that are a part of us have agreed that once we let them know who needs to be visited, veterans that are able will go out and come out and check on them and make sure that they're okay and establish that type of relationship. And then my background, some of you remember me, I was with Liberty Township, so I'm very connected with the first responders. So we're going to establish that special needs registry. So that's a very similar thing where we're going to stay connected with the first responders, because those people, where the rubber meets the road, have the first exposure to these veterans, and they get to see what they're actually living like, and they can explain and give us some insight of what those true needs are, because a lot of them don't want that help, and then we can break that ice by knowing. And then the other thing is, we found 3 or 4 veterans that have found financial hardship because they were transported or treated by a hospital, and they failed to meet a requirement that the VA says that in 72 hours of that admission or treatment, they have to let the VA know. If not, that entire financial burden is on the veteran themselves. So when that doesn't happen, they're $30,000, $40,000 in debt. So one of the things I did
We
was...
can work through that, it just
Correct.
sometimes takes a long time.
Correct.
Boy.
And then, you know, when you're struggling with money, you're just stressed, and
Yeah.
you want to take that away. So we're trying to get in front of it. We're doing some outreach. One of the examples is we went to Central Ohio Trauma Systems. All the hospitals in 43 counties come to this meeting, and we had a presentation. We explained how that affects the veteran, hoping that they will work with them when they come to the hospital and make that notification form so they're not financially stressed. And that is the things that we're going to work on.
Any questions for Bill?
Any?
That's very thorough.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
I'm glad you mentioned your background, Bill, because I was gonna, I'm familiar with it, and it's perfect for helping all these veterans.
So I just wanted to go briefly through a couple other things that we're doing. You know, we do a lot of community outreach. So, you know, as Bill had talked about with the first responder community, you know, word of mouth is a big part of what we do. So we go to events such as First Friday motorcycle nights. So there's a Leon's Garage over in Marysville. We go to it from time to time because a lot of veterans, are in that community. We're going to be down at the Ohio State Fair. There's actually a group of us, the county offices, that are going to be there together with the state. And, we do events down at the zoo whenever they sponsor military events. We're down there. So if there's outreach events that you know of, where you think there's going to be veterans there, let us know. We'll be there. We're out a lot. We do outreach with other counties. Just recently, I was with Franklin County with Buck. He invited me down to speak at the AMVETS conference as well as the VVA conference. So that was a great opportunity to let those organizations to reiterate what county veteran service commissions and offices do. So that's going well. We're deeply involved with municipal court, with the Veteran Special Docket. So we do a lot with them. And we're also involved with other, entities through the county as far as like Stock Hands Horses for Healing, the MASH Pantry, True North. Again, if you come across where you're hearing something about one of these organizations that deal with veterans, if they've got something that they need assistance with, or there's an issue or something like that that we can help, please let us know. As Bill talked about the veteran visiting program, we're looking at starting a relationship with juvenile probation to where whenever Bill goes out and, or we hear about veterans needing a certain thing, if we can use that program, to where they'll go out and take care of some stuff through the juvenile probation, that specific program that the county runs, we're going to start utilizing them. So that's just a recent occurrence that we're going to do. And then we do a lot of work with the cemeteries. So, if you see something at the cemetery that's a veteran thing that's not right, or a headstone that's cracked, or something that's an issue, we can take care of those issues. So we work through those things. And then some of the stuff that we're working through as far as veterans events. So for next year, we're actually meeting in a little while here to try and bring the Vietnam Wall to Delaware County. So it's the 3/4 scale Vietnam Wall that we're working at, trying to get it into a location. So we have to have our application in, in a month and a half. So we're gonna get that done, and hopefully we'll be selected. So, we'll be working with you on, it's a big project, it's a big outreach portion to try and let people know. And, it's kind of a Navy term, all hands on deck for an event such as something like this. We're also looking at, constantly trying to attract younger veterans. So we're looking at doing a 5K later on this year, or potentially a shooting event with DNR. So those are going to attract potentially, younger veterans to reach them and to let them know what we do, so that way we can help them. We're involved in Memorial Day observances. We're involved in the Forever Grateful Dinner, Veterans Day observances, and the parade. Something else for 2023 that we want to get involved with is the air show that's happening down in Columbus, is to try and work something out with, many of the county veteran service offices to do something special for the veterans down there for the air show. And of course, something else that we're looking for next year is, to have sponsored trips to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And being that they're veterans, to try and set something up to where maybe they can have a behind the scenes or a meal, like lunch or something like that there, and then bring them back. There's other programs that do trips to Wright-Patterson, but we want to hit those that maybe fall through the cracks on those, as well as do something special since they're veterans, and at an air base, they may be able to do something for them. Not necessarily to the same extent that like Honor Flight, but, something, in a similar manner. So these are some of the events that we're looking at next year. As far as the actual budget, I didn't know if you had specific questions on it or anything else as far as what we're doing or suggestions.
You addressed my question, so I appreciate
sir.
that. I'd just like to make a comment, if I may. Brian and I have talked a little about the younger vets and how do you find them, how do you identify them, and it is a challenge because of confidential rules, et cetera. So, but that's, I think, an important area that I think we as commissioners would help any way we can, obviously. And we thought we had a way to at least get a mailing out last year that didn't work out. But we tried.
I thought it was a great idea.
Well,
and hopefully that law will change and we can do it, because we were ready to go on it. We had it all set up and ready.
We were working with the treasurer's office on their mailing and got it done and found out it wasn't legal.
Yes.
So, but we tried. So anyway, I appreciate all of you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian, it's been great to see, the Veteran Services Office and the commissioners step up and just recognize that we need to do a better job of servicing our veterans, who need help, need support. So I want to thank you all for that. Thank you for your service in general, both to the country and to the county. How many veterans would you estimate your office touches in a year? I know you have so many different programs.
Define, that's the problem, is define touch. So, we get calls, in.
Right.
We get people that come through the door. We go out to different locations as far as, it's the events. So the problem is wrapping your hands around, defining some of these numbers. We can define who comes, as far as who we transport, how many, different things we do in a year. But whenever you're talking about how many veterans am I going to talk to at First Friday tomorrow night?
Who knows?
It's just a constant barrage of people. So it's hard to wrap around the totality of it, because it's just so variable as far as, defining touch. I can get you numbers as far as how many people we transport, how many people we do claims for, all that stuff. But as far as the totality of it, that's
I was
it.
wondering,
It's a lot.
There's a lot of casual interactions that you aren't going to.
Well, I'll be out at and this is something great that everybody here does, is, you could be out shopping and you see somebody with a hat. Oh, so when'd you serve? And you just have that quick conversation with them. And I did this at Kroger the other. My wife just shakes her head whenever I do this. I say, hey, have you heard about the Veteran Service Office? As far as what? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. And so, I think that the great thing about this, I wouldn't necessarily say a job, this career, is that you do it because you enjoy it. And you do these things as far as, when you're outside of the office, you see somebody with that veteran's hat, you talk to them, you find out experience, especially, Navy, one of the soft spot, a Navy person, find out what they did and all that stuff. And, you let them know what we do. And it's just constant. It's 24/7. But you're not doing it because it's a job. You're doing it because you enjoy it.
Well, again, thank you. Thank everyone. And I have no further questions on the budget. I know this money is being spent wisely with its mission to help the veterans.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
doing a much better job. I really sincerely, I think all of us really sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes, and I second those comments. I mean, this is how the money should be spent, and the outreach that you're doing has never been done before. And it's just so heartwarming to see so many people so qualified, working so hard. But as you say, it's not work. I mean, it's a mission, and it's just wonderful. I know down in Genoa, right at Maxtown and Route 3, the veterans have a clothing store.
The DAV, the Disabled American Veterans.
Okay. Do you?
I think it's DAV, isn't it? AMVETS, okay.
Okay, so you're in contact with them as far as even.
Actually, what's great about our commission is that each one of our commissioners is from one of those organizations. So we've got a commissioner that's with DAV, we got a commissioner that's with AMVETS, we got a commissioner with, so each one of those is our focal point to reach out, and it's designed that way.
Oh, good. So that way you can tell if anybody comes in your office and needs some clothing and.
Or if there's an issue with, one of the service organizations, say, hey, we've got this going on.
Sure.
We can help get the word out. It's a way to, multiply the force as far as,
Right.
so rather than just, so for example, recently at the fair, we've got a booth to where they're all staffing it. So that way, it could be AMVETS one night, it could be the VFW down the road, it could be the VFW in Sudbury, it could be the American Legion one night, it could be
great.
DAV. So, the great thing about having the commissioners the way they are is it's a collaborative approach because they're all, rowing in the same direction. Now, they got their differences as far as with the DAV and the American Legion and Hand Vets, but they all have the same purpose in mind, which is to support, fellow veterans.
Oh, that's great. And you work with United Way too?
In Brandon Fowler, yes.
And Brandon,
Yep.
right. And then people in need, and so, right.
Correct.
Some veterans, I know.
Yes.
Need their services too, so thank you so much. Thanks to the commission and thanks to the staff and to you, Brian.
Thank you.
Great leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will still need to vote.
We
Vote.
should vote, okay.
Vote on motion 22-550. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Resolution number 22-551, in the matter of purchasing radios and related components for the use in the countywide public safety communication system.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Patrick Brandt, 911 Director for the county. What we have before you is a resolution to purchase radios off the state term contract. There's 32 of them. It is a budgeted expense. With this, they have a promo going on right now through the vendor where we're getting trade-in dollars for every radio we're trading in. Last time we sold them on Gov Deals, we made, it was pennies on the dollar is what we got. It was like $2,000 for 50 radios. It was ridiculous. These guys are giving us, what their promo they have is $610 off per radio, which is a savings over $19,000 for us. So we recommend your approval.
Are these for DC EMS vehicles?
No, these will be going to POW Police.
Oh, these are for the PAL.
Yeah, these will be going to the officers of POW Police. They have the latest units that we have in the fleet right now.
Okay.
Okay, vote please.
Vote on motion 22-551. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-552, in the matter of approving the amendments to the license agreement by and between Delaware County and Tyler Technologies Incorporated for emergency communication software.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Patrick Brandt once again. This has two amendments to the Tyler resolution we have for you. The first amendment in here is the deal we did with CODA, where CODA wants the CAD data out of us so they can reroute buses and such for their traffic and that comes in. It's a grant they received out of MORPC that they did for the amount of on-demand buses that come up here, let alone, we only have the one big bus that goes to the Columbus Zoo. However, they're working with Union County, Westerville, Dublin, and all the other agencies around, trying to get this data to go into their system. And then if they do have some type of major incident, they can reroute their buses and such. This does call, considering it was a grant funded by MORPC that they got for this project, CODA is paying the bill on it. However, due to we're the contract holder with Tyler, is why your guys' signature is needed for one, and for two, if CODA defaults on not paying the bill, then it goes back to us. But obviously, we don't intend any issues on that. The second one we have for you is an out-of-bound AVL piece they're calling. One of the issues we're still trying to resolve is getting the GPS coordinates in from all the vehicles in the fleet. We do have a lot of them that are coming in, but we have so many different, subscribers between different cellular companies, different how modems and everything. This is another piece that the vendor has that will resolve this issue, is what they're telling us and what we've met with them on. They are providing it at no cost to the county, so we can get this project done. The only thing we would have to pick up is in year two, the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance of the software. But it is a no-cost change order in the way of upfront purchasing. Any questions on either one of those?
Questions? Okay, vote please.
Vote on motion 22-552. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patrick.
Resolution number 22-553, in the matter of approving the lots of subdivision for SR 61 CAD and LC Laner CAD.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Lee Bodnar from the Engineers Office. Before you there for your approval is a plat for the SR 61 CAD. That is 5 lots in Kingston and Porter Townships on State Route 61, northeast of Wilson Road. One of the lots is in Kingston Township. It's a 4.2 acre lot, and contiguous to that are 4 additional larger lots in Porter Township. For the plat of RC Laner CAD, that is 4 lots in Radnor Township off of Dildine Road, southeast of River Road. and they're 5-acre lots. These have been reviewed by all agencies required, and they meet the conformance to the rules, regulations, and the standards, and we would recommend your approval.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-553. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-554, in the matter of approving owner's agreement for Ravine Run.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, for your consideration is a owner's agreement for Ravine Run. It's a 14-lot subdivision in Orange Township on Meacham Court. This is for the roadway construction and the installation of all improvements. Everything has been reviewed, and we would recommend your approval.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-554. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Lee.
And that brings us to administrative reports.
Nothing today, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Benton.
Don't really have anything either, I just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, safe 4th of July. Now fireworks are legal mostly in the state, and hope everyone can get out to the fireworks display here in Delaware and the concert in Phillips Glen on West Lane's campus. Again, it's just a nice event for Delaware, and it should be a really nice, warm weekend.
Yes, it will be. Commissioner Merrill.
I have nothing other than, July 4th, it is a very, very special holiday that we should, hopefully we'll all take time to reflect on, and I will be in the parade in Sunbury Monday morning, and I believe Commissioner Lewis is as well, is that correct?
I am too.
Will
And
be too.
So,
and so will Auditor Keitsa. So,
And Dave Hemanowski.
well,
yeah, he
Judge,
always comes properly attired.
he does, Judge Hemanowski, right, yes, that's worth seeing alone. Yeah, no, but to celebrate our independence, it's just a very special day, especially now, and hope everyone does have a very safe holiday. We do have need for executive session.
We do. Resolution number 22-555, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for pending or imminent litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-555. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
We are now recessed